Greetings, UAW Local 31. Dante Wilson here with our February update. As you can see, I'm joined by a couple special guests. Your Financial Secretary, Leonardo Carrillo, and our trustee, Jennifer Gillane, / head unemployment KDOL specialist, work search extraordinaire. So we're going to bring you this update. I know there's tons and tons of questions about unemployment and such, so we're just going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and try to just make sure everyone is on the same page, as well as questions about sub, including dues and everything else. So we are going to just jump right in. Unemployment is a mess. No ifs, ands, no buts about it, okay? It has been worse than advertised, and we pretty much knew it was going to be a pretty rough go at it, okay? We are trekking through it, all right? We're getting through it, and that's because of the volunteers, the folks that have been dedicating some time and time away from their families and their lives to kind of help this thing move along. So, in addition to the benefit reps and everyone else, so I want to give a huge shout out to anyone that's volunteered here. Jennifer, chief among them, our vice president, Tony Pryor, Derek Yancey, Nick Wolford, Miss Tanya Wright, Miss Donna Burks. I know I'm going to miss somebody trying to do the names. Miss Shauna Steves. Just the folks that have taken some time to come out and do that, just for their fellow union brother and sister. So that's what this thing's all about. I know there's still some problems, y'all, but think about where we would be but for all of these folks pulling in the same direction. And, that warms the heart, even if it doesn't necessarily warm the pockets. So, system issues with unemployment. Huge problems. Anywhere from work search problems that we're having all the way down to, we had some weird error code for a day that just completely shut everybody out, right? When you make us aware, we do have some avenues to make them aware. I've had multiple conversations with the labor secretary and all the way up to the governor about these things. The good thing is, to be quite honest with you, these problems typically get corrected relatively quickly. Relatively quickly meaning a day maybe, or 12 hours to, whatever that may be. But the issue is that we got to go through it. And we get that, and it's a problem. But once we get those things escalated, they are very helpful in getting solutions passed down. So we are aware that there's some folks still having some registration problems for whatever reason. If you're having something new that you have not already raised to us, or if it's lingering, please reach out to us if you can't get a hold of unemployment. I feel like we are like a sub-regional office here. But at the end of the day, it's all about making sure this membership, you get the help that you need so your money is not interrupted and your benefits are not interrupted. So please don't hesitate to come to us, and we'll get whatever information for you if we can. And to be honest with you, these folks have been doing a fantastic job getting that done. So
make sure time sensitive stuff. So.
Yeah, and this is, again, Leo, thank you. All of this stuff is so time sensitive, you guys. I mean, we put those packets together. We put those videos together, step by step, click by click, exactly what you do, what you say here, right? And I know just by looking and checking some of the feedback, I know most of you guys have taken heed on some of that. If you have not, if you don't get the text, if you don't get the messages, if you don't pay attention to the Facebook, if you've been under a rock, come to the damn hall, okay? If you absolutely need help, please don't wait until you're 2-3 weeks behind and trying to get this thing done, because the state has no appetite to pay you. It is called unemployment insurance. And number one goal of any insurance company is to take your money and not pay out a claim when you need it. All right? So we've been able to get some things done to fix some problems, to fix some audits and fix some disqualifications and win some appeals, but we cannot fix what we don't know. And to be quite honest with you, that is your responsibility. Check your documents, pay attention to your mail, because everything they send you is time sensitive. And if you're outside of those windows, it is very little that we can do to fix those things. So, knock on this fake wood right here. We have not lost an appeal yet. We have not seen an issue, a hurdle that we have not been able to overcome. I ask you with every ounce of humbleness that I can find, let's not make your case the first one.
Because the longer we wait, the harder it is to try.
Say it loud, Leo.
The longer we wait, the harder it will be to get the state to be able to accept that as a valid excuse or an appeal.
We can't keep going back and saying we just couldn't get into the system, because 3 weeks is a little excessive to say that I kept calling and not able to reach somebody through unemployment.
And that also goes for job search activities that are supposed to be conducted. Even if you can't file for unemployment right now, you still have to do the work search activities in order to qualify for the benefits. So keep a log of all that stuff.
Yes. So, and to that end, I know there was a little bit of buzz about an audit that popped up for another member. It is an extensive document, 20 pages, and that's probably the low end. It asks anything from work history to, what your second ex-wife's dog's name was. All right?
It's a bit much.
Keep a log, guys. Keep a log of who you're talking to when you're doing these job searches, where you're going. If it's a screenshot, just do a quick screenshot. That's fine. If it's keeping notes, do that. Thankfully, the member, when they had this audit, and the audits are for a particular week, right? So that might be 3 weeks ago, it might be a month ago, it might be whenever, right? Whichever key week that they deem. Thankfully, this member, our brother, had took copious notes. They were great. We were able to complete that audit form. I did it personally, and we knocked it out, sent it up. No problem. Haven't heard any issues with it. But if you are somebody that's not doing that right now, take it as an opportunity to make sure you write that down. Okay, keep that, because you cannot go in the system, right, back to the system issues, and view what you selected as your work search activities. I think that's ridiculous. I'm sure you do too. But as it stands right now, you can't. Now, the state can see it, but that's kind of the point. They're doing it as a mechanism to catch us up, right? So, please, cover your ass. I don't have a nice way to put that, because it's going to be very difficult for us to get you out of any jams, which we've been able to do so far. If we get a month down the road and we got no documentation, no nothing. So, CYA, please. Work search. Anything you want to add on that, Ms. Jennifer?
Work searches. So you are required to do 2 work searches weekly, 1 application. We do know that the system does not say you did a work search. The answer is that the application resume they're not accepting. That is what the state is having us answer. Please make sure that you only have 2 of your activities with that answer. The other one must say not hired. That is considered that you actually submitted an application. Even if the business is not accepting applications, you still have to tell them that you submitted an application and you were not hired. That is the recommendation, or that is the requirement. So if you guys are putting in, you just did not apply, or they weren't accepting, they're going to give you a pop-up box when you go do your weekly questionnaire. If you get a pop-up box before you complete your weekly questions, please do not go in there and just fill out that box and saying you did the activities that was required. Because I'm going to tell you right now, your unemployment is going to get denied. Because as far as they are concerned, you did not complete the requirement. If you get that box, hit the cancel button, go back and look at your work search activities and see what your answers were. If you cannot go in and correct one of those answers, you may have to create another activity correct what it is that needs to be corrected, and go ahead and delete out that other entry that where you had entered in the wrong information. That is acceptable. But do not let yourself just fill out that box and enter saying that you just didn't look for work or you did your work search activities in their little questionnaire, because that is a safety mechanism for you, and it's a disqualification mechanism for them. So don't allow yourself to get to that point. Another thing with Kansas Works, we all will be required to do the My Reemployment Plan through Kansas Works. My suggestion is, if you're not utilizing that source, it is very little bit more easy to kind of work with and get your work searches done. You can click on any job there and it will record a log. You can go into your job search activity and see that log history. You can type in that job name and that title, and that's considered a work search. So you can enter that, and that it can be entered under, you looked for it online through Kansas Works. You can also add in that same log, you can add in, if you went to Indeed, you can type that in and keep that record on the computer, and so you don't have to write everything down on a piece of paper if you choose not to. But in some form, you do have to have a record, whether it be screenshots, web browser history, or something, for when these audits do come. If you do get hit, if they ask for proof, it may not just be, hey, I went to this site. They may be asking for physical proof. So please make sure that if you are saying you're doing this, that you are doing it, because there's no way for us to go back and make up work history if you guys don't have anything.
So just to put a button on that, the work search requirements have not changed. 3 activities total, right? One of which has to be a job or resume somewhere. When you're filling that job or resume somewhere out on the online portal, right? When you're applying for your weekly claim or doing your work search journal, it must say submitted, applications or resume submitted, but not hired. Or if you got hired, bless your heart. But it must say submitted, an application. If you click the button that says not accepting resumes or applications, and you say that for all your entries, they are going to flag you. Okay? The other 2 activities can be work searches. Those can say not accepting applications. That's acceptable, no problem there. All right? Lastly, the Kansas Works. This is a suggestion that you can utilize the Kansas Works portal as a mechanism of recording all of those things. So if, God forbid, you get flagged in this random audit, you'll have a record that you can say, well, here it is right there. So, sub pay. Very few issues with sub. That has been great. The sub thing is pretty short and sweet. If you had any issues with whether you plugged in your monetary determination incorrectly, you were drawing unemployment from another state, or just some random issue with sub, we are asking you to go to benefits and get them to fill out the manual form. Also, if you have a job, there are some different things you got to do with your sub. So if you do have like a part-time job, you do need to make sure you're waiting for exactly what their number is going to be from unemployment, which you can go through the portal there and find usually Wednesday, Thursday, and see what that number is, so you can take that number over to sub and make sure it's correct when you're filling that out. But for the most part, sub has not been a huge problem. If you are having issues with something that needs a manual sub submission, we can fax that over. Benefits knows exactly what to do, and we have some direct lines of communication through international with sub on that if we need to get all those things corrected. For the most part, not a whole lot of problems there. Very few people have reported any issues with sub. But there is some dudes questions, and that is why this bearded gentleman to my right is sitting right here.
All right, brothers and sisters. So the supplemental unemployment benefit is a union UAW negotiated benefit that you receive. It is subject to dues. The dues are 1 hour per month. And as of right now, it looks like only 76 had paid in the month of January. So it may be that they may be taking dues and arrears this month in February for last month. So it should show up on your pay slip as sub-union dues. And 1 hour of pay per month.
If you're having any problems with that, or if you're getting multiple weeks taken out and you got any questions, please come on down or call us. I'm sure, especially if you have your pay stub, we can just kind of check it out, make sure that everything's correct. Those are the records that we have as of right now. It does take a little bit of time, I think a week or so, for us to catch up with whatever dues were taken out before we can actually receive it and see it. Is that correct, Leo?
Correct.
So bear with us on that part. But if you feel like something's being taken from you, incorrectly, we got no problem fixing that. I think we have a good long history of getting it right in that regard, or making it right in that regard. Anything on dues or subs? Did you have something before I jump into the politics of it all?
The only thing that I have is if you are needing help with your unemployment stuff, I have been here every day since we've been out. I am willing to help people walk through. I've held small little classes in the back room. We've had a couple of people that have come in and helped us work with that. So there isn't any reason, if you're getting stuck, that you cannot come into the hall at some point in time during the hours we're open from 7:30 to 4:30 and get that help. Somebody is here to help.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. I know it can be hard for some folks you want to try to figure it on your own. Don't do that. If you have problems, just come up here and we're going to help you out. That's what we're here for.
That is what we're here for. And we don't get to do easy, so the harder the better, right? So all right, so the politics of it all. Just so you guys know, we've been talking about this for months. We have sent up 3 amendments to the My Reemployment Act, which is a law that the gentleman from District 27, Representative Sean Tarwater, wrote a law on the My Reemployment Act. That is the reason why we have all of these hoops that we have. We offered 3 amendments that would alleviate that provision basically from us, right? It would waive the My Reemployment Plan for us UAW workers for General Motors. 3 different variations of it. One was an extension to the 8 weeks. The other one was basically just waiving that whole provision if you work at General Motors with sub pay, and then another one was extremely specific to us as it relates to sub pay as well.
Type of benefits.
Yeah, or just those type of benefits, but that language was extremely specific to us, right? I say all that to say, at this point, we are waiting for review from a couple different parties. This is kind of how this legislative process just goes. I mean, we have kind of put this thing on a very, I would say, fast track. So we are a little bit ahead of schedule. I mean, if someone was trying to write a law, you don't usually get that done in 2 weeks or a month. This is maybe I would say a couple months in the making, just because there's so many different parties, right? You got to go through GM corporate. You got, the legislative branch here in Topeka, and then you got the governor's office. So we had a lot of folks working on it, and the legislation has been proposed. It has not come for a vote as of yet. What I would suggest to everyone is make sure your representatives know, whether you're in a Democratic district or Republican, let them all know, hey, this is what we're going through. This is the angst that is causing us. Here are the real life ramifications of it. And damn it, if and when this gets to the floor, here's how we want you to vote. Nah, to hell with that. Here's how we demand you to vote. That's the only way this thing works. Politicians only respect a couple things, right? Money, right? Which you can, money and / power, right? Or people / power.
Votes.
Right? We ain't got a lot of money, y'all. That ain't how labor unions work. We're not offering, $250 million to a politician. What we have is numbers, density, people. That's how we exercise our power. So thus far, we have been pushing along this process in terms of getting this law changed, and we're doing a damn good job at that in terms of expediting the process. But we got to get it over the hump, and that's only gonna happen if you calling your representative, whoever that may be, including this gentleman Tarwater, who, let's just be completely honest, he's been extremely helpful. Any issues that we've had, if we sent them up directly to him, he's been helping to facilitate some solutions. So I don't want to make it as if he's been all bad. The law is all bad for us, but his actions have been in good faith. Let's hope it stays that way. All right. We do got some other things going on here at the hall. We had our insurance company come out and take a look around. The roof here is in disrepair, to say the least. There's some other things on this side, the office side of the building, that we're having looked at. I know it's not the greatest time to do that with this layoff and the news we just got, but at the end of the day, we can't let the building collapse for the sake of that. So we will update you guys as it comes on that. Any major financial decisions that we do, as always, will come through the membership. But we just wanted to kind of keep you guys abreast of what's going on here at the local in February. Please, y'all. Union meeting is probably done by the time you're watching this, but the next one will be coming up here in March. So just make sure you come out here and attend that one as well. Third Saturday every month, 1 o'clock for executive, 2 o'clock for the regular membership. What I would ask, before I let you guys go, is that there's a ton of people working their butts off right about now. An awful lot of folks. Not just this 2 you see here and the 1 you don't behind the camera. There's a ton of folks doing an awful lot of work to make sure that this membership's okay, to make sure that this thing has some longevity. Once we get out of that moment of grief and that moment of anger and anxiousness, and we realize what it takes to do a thing, what it takes, the energy and the effort that it takes, the coordination to get something done. I hope that we can really appreciate everything that these folks are doing to create that measure of longevity for UAW Local 31. So I want to say thank you to everybody that has been putting the effort in. Thank you for everyone for all the patience, because we know it's been pretty hectic over here. And we appreciate, you're waiting on long hold calls for phone calls for us and benefits, because they're working their tails off over there with SAP and everything else. So unless you guys got anything to add?
No.
Nope. We appreciate you. This has been the February update. Thank you, and solidarity forever.